Welcome to Frequency Matters, the RF and microwave update. I'm Pat Hindle, and I'm here with my co-host Gary Lerude. Last episode, we discussed the November issue, which was focused on the latest breakthroughs in radar and phased array technology. This episode, we turn our attention to our supplement, which is 5G and IoT. I know, everyone's going to think they don't go together, but they are the two hottest topics in our industry, so we need to dedicate a whole supplement to that. And whatever the future is of communication systems, they're going to have to accommodate the high throughput, low latency channels along with the millions of connections of low power, low data rate devices. So somehow that's all going to have to work out.
Right.
And there's certainly a lot of challenges in that area, so we'll be covering that for the next few years, I'm sure.
Right, and some of the IoT connections will actually go through the 5G network. So.
Yeah, they'll have to accommodate both,
right.
So it's definitely a way to go and work that out. And so our cover story in the supplement is very interesting. It talks about a 4-element X-band chip. So this is a highly integrated single chip solution, 4 elements on there. And what's really advanced about it is it has built-in self-test, built-in calibration, and on-chip diagnostics. So you can really make a very advanced beamforming array out of these chips. And it's packaged in a 7mm plastic package, which can be densely packed into an array, which is not available in multi-chip solutions. The spacing is too far away.
Yeah, it's very impressive integration. Shows what you can do in silicon now.
Yes, it's becoming the way for a lot of these highly integrated solutions.
Right.
So what do we have for technical features?
So in terms of technical features, we have 4 I think are very interesting. And the first one related to 5G is a test bed for 5G waveform analysis as well as development. And it's the article's written by Keysight Technologies. And so that should be of interest given all the 5G research that's going on. The second one, sort of related to the demand for bandwidth, actually 2 articles related to that, 2 different approaches. Of course, now with LTE Advanced, carrier aggregation is starting to come in.
Right.
So Avago has written an article on a quadruplexer that basically is a band 2, band 4, covering the transmit and receive bands, and so that those 2 bands are used simultaneously to aggregate more data on the downlink.
Right.
Another approach for doing that is to tap into the Wi-Fi spectrum at 5 gigahertz. And so we have a Rodian Schwartz article that talks about LTE advanced, or what's called LTE licensed assisted access, LTE LAA, and the other word for it is LTE unlicensed. And they do a very nice job in terms of a tutorial of how the system works. And I've read a lot about concerns of will the cellular basically capture the Wi-Fi band. And through this article, you see what the fairness rules are for sharing that band between the 2 services. So having read that, I feel better about it now. And then our 4th article is actually about 60 gigahertz backhaul. It's a joint submittal by what was Hittite, now Analog Devices, and Xilinx on a complete radio link at 60 gigahertz, where Xilinx provides the modem and Analog Devices does the millimeter wave transceivers. So 4 interesting articles for this supplement.
Yeah, and we'll be continuing this supplement next year, so keep that in your plans.
So how about products in the
article?
on
products, so NI was another big name. So Keysight, Rode, NI, and Ritsu, all the test companies, even Cobb and Aeroflex are very involved in the 5G, kind of on the leading edge. NI has developed a wireless test system. So it's a PXI-based system. It uses the speed of the PXI chassis. It uses the latest in quad-core Intel chips for processing. It uses their PXI vector signal transceiver, which can be 1 or more units, and also switch matrix in the front of it. So this is all packaged into one box for a very low-cost solution, which is going to be necessary for the Internet of Things because they're going to have to be very cheap. We also had Linear Tech, had a new double balanced passive mixer that covers 2 to 14 gigahertz. So this is great for 5G and satellite communications for internet coverage around the world. And that has very high linearity, so it gives you better dynamic range in both the transmit and receive. It can do both up conversion and down conversion. And finally, we had IMST, which has a new low-RAW, which is long-range front-end transceiver that they patented technology from Semtech is used. And that has better range than the traditional ISM band solutions. And it can get up to a 15-kilometer range. So that's very good for Internet of Things, talking long distance between sensors.
Yeah, I think that's pretty amazing, the distance with low power that you can cover for those kind of data rate systems.
Yeah, it's a big trade-off, so it's a tough challenge.
Right.
How about for tech briefs?
So tech briefs, we have one from CTS, a couple of oven-controlled crystal oscillators What's unique about these devices is very low G sensitivity, so better than 2 to the minus 10th is the spec for that. And then also very low power consumption, 120 milliwatts in the steady state case. So that's kind of a new impressive addition to their portfolio. The other thing I wanted to mention, not a tech brief, but we have a very interesting executive interview on the website with Carolina Vikander, who's the head of microwave at Ericsson Radio. And she talks about the point-to-point radio market, how it's developing both from a business standpoint as well as the technology that's enabling it. And of course, the backhaul has to be a key part of the move to 5G and additional data rates.
Yeah, that was a very informative interview.
Yeah,
it's a great one to look at.
We appreciate how willing she was to answer all our questions.
Yes.
So.
Then if we turn to news, again, more semiconductor consolidation. I thought we'd actually get by an episode without having to talk about it, but it's always in the news. On Semiconductor announced that they're acquiring Fairchild Semiconductor for $2.4 billion.
Yeah.
And also Tower Jazz announced that they'll acquire Maxim's 8-inch fab in Texas. So those are a little peripheral to our industry, but one that's right in our industry you covered.
Yes, that's very interesting. I think it's a key milestone. It was announced that Gas Labs, which is John Ocampo's venture firm, is buying Anadigix for about $32 million. It kind of gave me pause because Anadigix was one of those companies that started in the mid-'80s when there were a number of gas mimic startups. And they're basically the last one standing now.
Were.
Other companies, Triquint, Hittite, very familiar names that have since, of course, Triquint merged with RFMD to become Qorvo. Hittite was acquired by Analog Devices. And so Anadigix was kind of the last one standing. And as you say, now they won't be, although initially, Ocampo will continue to run them as a standalone company, but my suspicion is in time, once they kind of get restructured, they'll probably merge into MACOM. That's my guess.
Yeah, they had a close relationship since he was the one who bought MACOM and then IPO'd it.
So I think it's a real milestone in the industry.
Yeah, definitely a lot going on, so I'm sure we'll continue to cover the mergers and acquisitions as they come along. Turning to events, just a quick note, and this will be the last time I'll remind everybody. So EDICon China, the call for papers for abstracts are due by November 30th, so please go to ediconchina.com/papers2016 to submit your abstract, and it'll be coming up before we know it next April. And we have some significant additions to that event this year coming up. We will be adding a Radar Industry Association event, so there'll be a full radar conference. We're adding EMC China event, which is a 2-day multi-track event, and that will be put on by the Chinese Electrotechnical Society. So we're really gaining momentum in China next year. I think it's going to be a big event.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing all the people and all the papers there.
What do you have coming up?
So in a couple of weeks, I'll be heading to Nanjing for the Asia Pacific Microwave Conference. So if any of our viewers are going to be over there, let me know. Maybe we can have a cup of tea together. So anything else we need to cover today?
No, I think that about wraps it up.
All right. Well, we want to thank our sponsor, Mini Circuits, for making this program possible. You can find out about Mini Circuits' wide range of products on their website at minicircuits.com. Thank you for viewing us and listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.